Hello, SpeedGaming viewers, and welcome to another Link to the Past Randomizer main tournament 2022 match. This is a bracket round 1 match with Schulzer facing off against Khloe Prower to see if we can take down Ganon first. They're playing MC Boss Shuffle today, and we'll get into the details of that in a little bit once we are rolling. I'm Adam Norton, and in the booth today with me is Rob J. Beasley. How you doing?
Pretty good, thanks. How about you?
Not too bad. This is a game 3, so I'm pretty excited to see how this set goes. Being 1-1 in the set means like this is it. It's basically a best of 1 now, and you might see some different playstyles just because I don't know. You got to win this game to go. So should be a good match. I like MC Boss Shuffle. So far, it's been my favorite to commentate. Boss Shuffle just creates a lot of interesting situations. It's really cool to watch.
Yeah, it's a neat mode with like the unknown information obviously being a big factor.
Yeah, we'll be having to keep track of maps and compasses, both of them being useful. Maps of the prizes and compasses, so we can take a peek at what bosses are in dungeons without having to actually go face them. And we're still going to need all 7 of those crystals. We'll have to climb GT after that. And that's pretty much the mode. So we're going to have some fun.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah, and if the seat is bad, you can blame me because I put in the command in the race room. So we know what we're getting into. These runners should be getting started any second now. And we are off.
All right, both starting from Sanctuary. I don't think I've commentated a race where the 2 players have started from different locations yet this tournament, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it seems like even though like there were different starts, it seems like they often just take the same one both times, like both Sank or both Uncle, or more rarely like both going south or something. That's very rare, but yeah, usually they both go the same way. It's weird. Both seem to go right to Lost Woods.
Not gonna go ahead and peek at the lumberjack just yet. We're going to get a tier 1 tree pull here. It's arrows. Don't really care about those just yet.
Just a heart piece of the mushroom spot. Worth grabbing. Bush crab also just has arrows. Pretty dry so far. Khloe says I'm going to go elsewhere. I think Chloe's going to walk from house around south and get bombs from the bushes.
Yeah, it makes sense, especially when you found neither bombs nor any rupees to buy them just yet. So yeah, and we're seeing the same from Schulzer.
We got another 10 arrows in the house chest, so extremely dry so far, unless you like having arrows you can't fire.
Yeah, maybe the seed will be kind and give us an early bow.
So yeah, this is an option you can take if you go to the woods and you don't have any bombs. You can walk along south, and 2 of the bushes in this cluster here have a 50% chance of a bomb under them. Completely random. Like, this isn't race-seeded RNG, even though they both got the same result. I'm pretty sure it's not race-seeded RNG. We'll see what Schulzer gets here. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not either.
Well, they both got the same result there, so we have 2 bombs, and we are gonna head into Kakariko now. 2 should be enough. That gets you most of the checks there, and you basically just need a little bit of luck. You get like 1 more bomb pack.
Yeah, absolutely, and yeah, both ending with the same number here, though it took Schulzer 1 less attempt, so a slight win there.
Yeah, you'd like to get at least 3 because that secures your Kakariko trip, but yeah, 2 will most likely do it. There's a shovel on library.
All right, well, I guess we'll be hoping we haven't got to come back for that one, but who knows? Seeing a fetch quest item like freestanding somewhere is always pretty awkward.
Flippers in the back of tavern. Yeah, visible fetch quest items you can't get. You're like, I wonder if that's useful. Thankfully, it's just library, so it's not too bad. The worst one, of course, is when it's on Lumberjack Ledge, because you need to think about what does that mushroom turn into later. Do I have to get it?
Interesting to see Schulzer skipping Chicken House for now. I guess that's on account of only having 2 bombs, and it's easiest to get back to Chicken House, just like making sure you knock out the bombable locations in the Well and Blind's house first, and if you have to come back later with more bombs, then it's easier to get back to Chicken House.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if you have with 2 bombs, yeah, you probably just go for well and blinds first. And then since you've already been in the woods, there's no reason to exit Kakariko going north.
There is another pack in Blind's house, so as long as Khloe decides to go in there, then they will be rewarded.
So we saw a map of Hera, so we got a little bit of map information already. And a compass to Mire, okay. And another map, Eastern.
Okay, Mire's a pretty good compass to have. It's one of the longest treks to the boss, so it's nice to know in advance what it's going to be.
Yeah. Chloe's gonna loop for money, I think, here.
Yeah, probably going to buy bombs, and we'll be a bit upset to find the 3 that are in Blind's house at that point.
Yeah, I don't blame him for doing that extra little 10 just to guarantee it, because you don't want to walk into blinds, not get bombs, walk out, go get bombs, come back with a bomb to get 1 check. It feels bad. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Altogether a weird Kakariko, but that's just how the early game goes sometimes when the seed doesn't really give you anything but, arrow packs all over the place. You kind of just have to make do. But that shows that the good resourcefulness of a runner can get into Kakariko and take a little bit of extra time and still get out of the village without having left anything behind.
We're seeing Schulzer, first one out of CAC here, going to start knocking off some checks in South Shore area.
We didn't really get anything. I mean, we got like an armor, and that's it. So we're really dry on items so far. So I'm expecting good things out of South Shore here, maybe the eastern area where the rest of the density is.
Yeah, probably. I mean, those early flippers, obviously, a kind of terrifying omen of Zora. We're hoping we haven't got to get 500 rupees quickly for our progression.
Yeah. Found our compass there. I missed what that one was. But we'll see later. So what we have with the compass is we have the option of doing a map check inside the dungeon, and a new feature that came out recently before this tournament started is you get a little icon on your inside dungeon map that shows what boss is there if you hold the compass.
Those are 300. That certainly helps if Zora does come up.
Yeah, it puts us a lot closer to Zora money. Schulzer's going to do the Damn to the Left play. We don't have a book yet, so this is going to be a peek at just Desert Ledge and then a walk into Agina's Cave.
This is probably mostly done to be delaying going right, because hoping to find Zora money, and then you can do all of that at once.
Yeah. Or just Agina's Cave. Oh, it was a TR compass. Okay. TR, another great one, especially if that ends up being like a pendant dungeon, then you'd like to not have to go all the way through TR, if you can help it.
Yeah, for sure. Though, I mean, at least in Turtle Rock, the last checks are quite close to the boss. Like, you're not going miles out of your way afterwards to get to the boss.
Yeah.
Looks like we're coming up dry again in Agina's Cave.
So, Khloe, having taken a bit more time in Kakariko, buying the bombs and everything is actually set up to do mini Moldorm here, whereas Schulzer has to compensate and go purchase bombs at Lake Shop and then figure out where he's going next. He might just walk to Eastern from here, yeah. A little peek at the island. Oh, you can just do flippers checks, true. Early flippers kind of makes another routing option. Ooh, mini wormhole. Oh, okay, got to look at that one.
Still pulled the bomb out, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's a hook shot.
Alright, until we get logical mountain access, it doesn't do anything for us yet, but it is a nice one to have. And a fire rod. So pretty nice mini Moldorm cave there.
And a compass for Ice Palace on the man under the bridge. A little more boss knowledge for later. Khloe will make the walk over to Ice Rod Cave. Makes it a little bit faster with hookshot. You can grab a few bushes on the way.
Schultz are getting out of the water here, so presumably it's going to be Eastern area.
Saha's Closet does have 3 items available for us, and then We can also potentially dip into Eastern. Every dungeon in this mode does have 2 more potentially good checks in it. So Eastern's worth 5, and you can access at least probably 4 of those, actually. Yeah.
Yep, and I'd also be thinking about escape as well at this point. Obviously, the fire rod lets us go to the back, assuming the small key is available.
Just money in his closet. Jeez. We got a little bit of knowledge off Sahasrilla telling us where our green pendant is, and that is going to be at Thieves Town. So green thieves today. Yeah, when the maps are shuffled, talking to Saha and the bomb shop guy can be some helpful information, letting you nail down 3 of your dungeon prizes without having to acquire those maps.
Alright, we're seeing our first dungeon dip here from Schulzer. I'm gonna see if Eastern Palace has anything to offer. Still no particularly useful weapons from Schulzer here. Gonna be having a tough time fighting some enemies.
First check is a map of desert. That's all our light world maps already.
Alright, I wouldn't be too shocked to see a map check from Schulzer coming out of this dungeon then.
Khloe spots a bomb pack on the island. We're going to head up to the Zora area, kind of hoping to maybe get a little more money from the waterfall cave, but with only 340, it's not quite enough to see what's on the big fish.
Yeah, seems pretty unlikely. Schulzer really wishing he'd found that hookshot already, having to go the long way around on the east side of Eastern Palace.
Well, there's a glove in waterfall, so that's helpful.
Yep, that is certainly part of the puzzle. We also can see from the top left corner of Schulzer's screen there that Eastern Palace is another one of our pendants. So with the Thieves Town knowledge from Saha, we know 2 of the 3 already.
Oh yeah, good call. There's that little indicator there. I missed that. I mean, I know it's there, but I wasn't paying attention for it. Yeah, good spot. Yes, just one more pendant map, and we'll at least know what all our crystals are. And then if they want, they can potentially check Bomb Shop Guy just to see what the 2 reds are, in case Pyramid Fairy becomes a thing they want to do. There's our Desert Compass. All right, we're getting a lot of good light world information in particular here.
Yeah, absolutely. But nothing much useful yet in Eastern, and Schulzer's going to go ahead and do this dark room. It's a little bit awkward on the current equipment, but I'm sure he'll be able to pull it off.
Khloe has meanwhile found a lamp at Uncle, and our first shield in the Uncle chest. And they will head into castle now with hookshot and bombs is pretty good combo for dealing with castle. The fire rod gives you got 2 shots with the refill from the Uncle, so you can take down 2 of the blue guards with the fire rod, and that makes it a pretty nice trip.
Yep, indeed, and also obviously like the combination of a hookshot to stun enemies can make them much more easy to kill with bombs as well. So it shouldn't be too bad to do everything here.
Yeah. Schulzer comes up with just a blue boomerang from the Eastern Big Key chest, so he is now going to save and quit, also heading towards the castle. There's our castle small key in the first chest, so we know that we have the option of walking through Dark Cross. We decided to do that, but given a glove, we can more easily access the back, so I can't imagine we walk all the way through.
Yeah, you're probably right on that one. So yeah, Schulzer going to be going into here. I guess does have this boomerang, but doesn't have the hookshot and fire rod, so it's going to be a slightly rougher escape for Schulzer.
2 guards on the magic pack. Yeah, it's a shame he doesn't have the fire rod now, because that full magic drop would actually be a huge benefit. Actually get to see our stun prize on Khloe's side, just a heart. Second shield. Khloe realizes that they've got the small key from the chest, so you can actually skip picking up that guard key. It's just a slight optimization, because if you're not going to go through Dark Cross, you don't need that extra key.
Yep, exactly. Just much easier to do the back from the back later, rather than walking all the way through.
One fire rod shot easily takes out the ball and chain guard. Setting up for the damage to get to the Death Warp. It's Tower of Hera Compass. More light world information.
There's a lot of bombs for this Death Warp.
Yeah, having blue mail makes them only take half a heart, so you need a couple extras. And Khloe will take a little trip to Dark Cross. Hopefully he doesn't have too much trouble in the dark. It can be a little tricky to get through here without a sword to light your way, but the hook shot makes it not too bad, and will hookshot's also a good weapon for killing everything that's in your way. In the snake room in particular can be really terrible without anything to deal with them. Oh wait, we have a layup. Never mind, we're fine.
Yeah, we do in fact have a lap. So
it's on the screen. I swear I'm paying attention.
Yeah, I've certainly made that mistake before. Like when you get the fire rod first, you're just thinking about doing it with the fire rod logically. So you kind of forget that if you find the lap later, that actually everything is fine. Dark Cross. Ooh, there's our first bow. All right, well, that is Pendant Eastern clearable. So, oh, maybe clearable. I guess we don't know what the boss is yet. Khloe will go ahead and finish off Castle here. Really quick trip to get to the back of Escape for the last 3 items. You know, it's a Pendant Eastern, but Khloe might decide to go there for some items if we don't get anything else coming up here. But we do have logical mountain access with, especially with the hookshot letting us get to East Mountain, so there's a lot to do there. Got a bottle and a cane of Burna in the back, so there's a check open in Kakariko now. Bit of an awkward one. I presume that will get left for a while, but looks like it's mountain time for Khloe, which makes a lot of sense. Yeah, there's a lot of density up here. Schulzer now on his way to Dark Cross as well. Yeah, Schulzer's really committing hard to the leaving Mini Moldom Cave until you've got Zora money, and obviously it's not working out amazingly here with a hookshot and a fire rod in there. And of course, Schulzer, lacking that glove, is going to go ahead and follow this through to the back from this direction. Yeah, and in his position, pretty reasonable play. You may as well just do this walk in case there is a glove back here, so you can just clear out Castle in one shot. There's our third shield on Old Man. We got all 3. All right. 16-minute mirror shield. You'll have to see it. Oh, that was Sandcart in the back even. Okay. Just slightly moved away from its normal location in the Sandcart itself. Top of spec is a full heart. We might see that picked up maybe if they're still low when they get around to getting that. And looks like a red rupee inside. Any of that, so let's go ahead and go to the east side here, see what's waiting for us in the caves over there. Schulzer also now realizing that he cannot in fact delay Mini Moldom Cave any longer. So going to go ahead and catch up here with the missing equipment. Yeah, the bow gives him ability to actually take down these minis. And then nice fairy drop to make sure he can walk to Ice Rod safely if he decides to do so. Yeah, that was a nice, nicely executed bow Mini Moldom Cave. The Mini Moldom's hitboxes can sometimes be a little bit bothersome to hit with the bow. Paradox 2 starts us off with 2 300s, so apparently most of our money is hanging out here on the mountain. Yep, the runners after that are going to be set for the entire rest of the seed. Ether Medallion and a hammer. Alright, Paradox is paying out. What else you got? We're just a moon pearl away from Dark World access now. 3 more 100 rupees.
Schulzer map check, then I missed what was on the other dungeons, but we're seeing a desert red from chat. I'm willing to believe it.
So I noticed Khloe not doing the Paradox Cave bomb jump there, thinking, okay, yeah, it's a little bit hard to set up without a sword, that's why you'd skip it, but it turns out that, in fact, Khloe just doesn't have any bombs right now.
Yeah. We saw a Bombus medallion up on the island there on the mountain, so we know where that is. Yeah, another Paradox Cave thing. You can get bombs in there from the shop, but you kind of need a bomb to open the shop, so unfortunately that's not a good source right now. We got, is that a vanilla Moldorm in Hera? Of course it is.
Alright, well, that one is killable right now. And yeah, Hera here is a crystal. It looks like, yeah, Desert is in fact our final pendant there, so we've already got all of our crystal knowledge. And yeah, Schulzer now finding that glove from the Waterfall Fairy. You're going to go ahead and follow Khloe up the mountain here. I'm going to go ahead and have a little look at what's on Lumberjack first, though.
We haven't yet seen this. This will be some new information for us. There's our second bow in the compass chest in Hera, so the bows are free.
I think Khloe there thinking, oh, I found 2 items, time to go to the boss, and then remembering that maps and compasses are wild, and so does still need to open Big Chest here.
Yep, 4 items in Hera as opposed to normal 2. Still get the small key in the big chest, because of course you do.
Yep, unfortunately, gonna have to go to the basement after this, or maybe leave the item behind. We'll see. I guess with so few checks left at this point, it's probably a thing you'll have to do. See how many eyes Moldom has today. That's vanilla as well.
Yeah, Moldorm can have anywhere between 1 and 8 eyes when boss shuffle's active. So seeing a 2 is just going, well, I don't know, it's normal. Ooh, Schulzer's in a tough spot here, getting bullied by rocks, but he's going to make it across just fine.
Yeah, luckily stunned them in a spot where he could just squeeze through the gap there. And looks like the second time of asking, the hammer has made short work of Moldorm, and there's the Moon Pearl.
There's our pearl on top of Hera. All right, then.
And also, importantly, our first crystal of the day. Yeah, it looks like with the Dark World now opened up, Khloe is going to go ahead and skip Hera Basement, which, yeah, seems completely fine with all the checks that are now open that are way better.
Yeah, you've gained a lot of access with that pearl there. You've got Hammer Glove Pearl. You can pretty much start wherever you want, and Khloe says, I'm going to start Hype Cave. Pretty reasonable.
Yep, definitely seems to be the pretty standard opening.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of hype starts with Hammer Glove so far in this tournament.
Yeah,
Khloe is missing bombs, however. Khloe can buy bombs at the shop here and is aware that they are missing bombs. They're going to do that, yeah.
Yeah, those bombs are pretty overpriced here, but we've got so much spare money from Paradox Cave that not a big deal.
1285. Schulzer has even more. 1359. They are loaded. Desert and... Oh, Desert's a red crystal, not a red pendant.
Oh, okay. So we don't have the pendant edition yet. Pod was the second red crystal by the looks of it there.
Yeah, Desert and Pod are our red crystals.
Alright, so we're missing 1 pendant for our complete information at this point.
So we are still interested in maps after all. There's an ice rod in Hype Cave. We might need that. Who knows? That's the only thing of interesting note there.
Yeah, ice rod is especially already having the fire rod here. It's a nice one to have. It means that in fact I think Khloe can now kill every boss, which is a really nice spot to be in.
Yep, you can initiate on Cold Start with the Fire Rod. You've got both rods for Trinex and a hook shot for Argus. We've got boss mode enabled. Some swords would be nice, yeah. Being able to kill them without having to use the hammer would be good. Speaking of hammer and having hammer and bow and lamp is a pretty good toolkit for let's go to pod and clear that dungeon. It's a crystal, we want it.
Yeah, why not? I mean, obviously, you'd like to have a mirror here as well, but beggars can't be choosers, right? We've got to go somewhere, and this is as good a place as any.
Yeah, when you've got to make a running decision, if you can clear a crystal dungeon, that's always a great choice because those are your objectives.
Yeah, for sure. It's never going to be a bad choice.
Schulzer's up into Hera now. We'll be getting his Moonporn a little bit off the Moldorm, and Khloe's now getting into the front of pod. We'll see if it's bow lock. Not that we're worried about it, but who knows? We'll see. Pod, of course, still having... It's only MC, so we have to still do the normal shenanigans with finding, like, pod keys in particular, so... Without a mirror, that means a bit of extra walking around, potentially.
There obviously was a key there in the first chest in pod, so not bow locked today. Gonna go ahead and open the lobby door here and route it the nice way.
Big key on the arena bridge. That's one key in the front so far. Key number 2 in Stealthless Basement. We'll go ahead and check the bow side next.
Yeah,
Schulzer
ideally... go ahead.
I was going to say, Schulzer taking the safe route of dropping to the big chest in Hera Vanilla style instead of risking the bomb jump without a sword, which if you fail that one, you drop 2 floors, and it's rather quite a bit of a time loss.
Yeah, for sure. Without sword or boots to like enable nice setups, it's definitely a smart move. And yeah, Khloe going to the bowlock side of pod here. Going to be hoping to not find 2 keys over here. Oh, sorry, rather hoping to not find 2 keys over here because that means that you might have to go back for vanilla big key chest. Yeah,
there's key number 3, and you like an item here? There's an item, perfect. So we know key number 4 is in big key chest, and there's a sword. We like those.
Yeah, it's about as good a find as it could have been here. We could, go ahead and just take out the boss right now. Already got the big key.
So he says, let's go for that. It's not a bad route in pod when you don't have the mirror in particular, because you can go straight for the boss, which puts you back at the entrance. You can do your rest of your cleanup and then just like save and quit from Dark Maze instead of having to Death Warp or whatever to continue the dungeon. We haven't seen a compass to pods. We don't know what the boss is just yet, so this will be a trek to go look at it. But again, Khloe does have all the tools to deal with bosses so far.
Yeah, and if Khloe was lacking the tools to kill every boss, entirely possible they then would have routed it to do the back first.
Yeah, because that way, in case you get stuck in a room with like a Trinex or something, then you are obligated to save and quit, and you're leaving the rest of the dungeon behind if you haven't cleared it. Schulzer locks himself in the box, now has to defend himself from these tiles. Yeah, Khloe did
kind of
not
awkward spot without the sword there to be locked in that box.
Having to use the boomerang or the fire or whatever, it's not great. This is new information from Schulzer. Khloe skipped this check, and we'll see in a moment whether that was a good idea. Green rupee, yep.
It was the best idea.
We find an Argus in the back of pod.
Oh, Schulzer, yeah, Schulzer death warping here. Of course, yeah, I hadn't thought at the time, but yeah, Khloe also left behind Spiral Cave, which looks like Schulzer's going to go to as well.
Schulzer already did Spiral. Actually, he might be doing Spike Cave with
Oh,
the
sure, yeah,
Mire.
the hammer can do that.
Or also his West Mount. All right. He went straight over to the east. He hasn't seen the spec rock items yet. Okay.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, Khloe doing a fighter sword Argus requires you to either utilize the hammer with some menu swapping or do fighter sword spins after pulling the puffs out. Done optimally, the fighter sword spins are about half a minute faster. The Argus can be a tricky boss with how it likes to move at you a lot, and it's a weird fight. One silver arrow does the trick.
Right, and we get the Thieves Town Compass as a reward.
Not a terribly useful compass, considering the boss of Thieves is very easy to get to. Pretty common play in Mick Boss is just to clear the front four and go right to the boss room, and then potentially leave the back of Thieves for later depending on how many items are there. So we'll see what happens later.
Yep.
Schulzer,
yeah, Schulzer heading to the Dark World too.
doing the same start, interested in Hype Cave first. Can't blame him. There's a chance of 5 good items here.
Yeah, for sure. And since like Schulzer took the detour to do Eastern early on, he's basically been following Khloe around the seed since then. A little bit of a mishap there on Hammer Jump Bridge from Khloe.
I think Khloe was thinking of... No, we have the big key. They could have done the hammer jump. But I guess that you don't really need a hammer jump in this case, considering you're going to save and go from Dark Maze anyway, so it's not as big of a deal.
Yeah.
Or Death Warp if you want to do more Dark World.
Yeah, I mean also with zero small keys, you can't actually do the nice route where you hammer jump and then go back through the door at the top.
Yeah, true. We did skip BKC, and then we've got 2 keys in the Rupee basement here. So we got an item in Hellway, so we'll check that.
Oh yeah, we do have Item Hellway here. I might have screwed that up if I was playing the seed, because I usually look at having 2 keys as the cue that it's not, but because we've already been to the boss and opened that door.
That was the difference. That's where the key was, yeah. When you do that different route, you gotta pay a little more attention to what your keys are doing, yeah. Alright, Dark Maze will be our last items in pod. There's our red mail upgrades. We're at 7 red, which is relatively comfy already. Just a heart piece, and our last item here will be... Boots in the pod big chest. Well, that makes that trip worth it.
For sure does. Now, has everyone remembered the shovel from the start of the seed? Because I certainly have.
The shovel in library, yeah.
I suspect they won't be rushing back to it, but yeah, it is now available.
Yeah, I think whenever you end up in Kakariko next, you can do Sick Kid and have the option of grabbing that shovel off library too. But Khloe knows that they haven't been over here to the eastern area just yet. There's some Sphere 1 items still hanging out. Get that green pennant information. Now they know it's Thieves Town. Yeah, we don't have any Dark World maps yet, so we're still waiting for to find out where our last pendant actually is.
Yeah, looks like Khloe might be going into the dungeon here as well. So I mean, obviously it will be slightly faster with the boots, but giving some of the time back here because we know that there's not really anything in there.
You could definitely make a call to head over to the Village of Outcasts area. You've got a fire rod, so you know you can clear Skull Woods. It's most likely a crystal at this rate, but if you're over here checking out your Sphere 1, you might say, yeah, let's just do Eastern now. I've got my bows. I can full clear this dungeon. Maybe I find something good out of it.
A little bit surprised to see Khloe going into a pendant dungeon here when there's still a few things left elsewhere. Obviously, could be going to Villager Outcast and stuff, but it's certainly a reasonable play.
Yeah. I think if you're going to do Eastern, like now, you can. If you're going to do it, now's a good time, especially when you're checking other Sphere 1 items like in Saw's Closet. You could also make a justification for if you're going to do Eastern, do it later after you've cleared Thieves Town, because you can come up with a green pendant and turn that in.
Certainly another reasonable move. But yeah, to answer the question in chat there about how Schulzer fell behind, Schulzer took an early trip to Eastern Palace. That's the biggest difference, really, which obviously Khloe is doing now, but does have the boots, so we'll be able to do it slightly faster. That's the biggest difference between the runners at the moment.
Schulzer was also a little bit later to getting his glove out of Waterfall.
Yeah, Schulzer, I mean, really just a little bit late to most of the progression at this point, obviously leaving Mini Mold on for the hookshot and the fire rod a little bit as well, but
yeah. We'll be continuing through Eastern Palace. Our only new check in here will be once they're actually at the boss. And if there is something on this boss here, then that could actually be a really big deal for Khloe, because Schulzer is very unlikely to get back there for some time.
Yeah, absolutely. Having already done all the other checks in the dungeon, having already beaten pods, yeah, there's very little reason for Schulzer to go back there anytime soon.
Super isolated, yeah. Look at their blue boomerang here from the Eastern Big Key Chest, and they're not going to the boss, actually. All right. Well,
okay.
Fair enough.
Pendants.
So we won't get any more information here. So Khloe will be the first one to head over to the Village of Outcasts area.
We're going to see the quick swap silver arrows strat for Argus here on Schulz's side. It's a neat one.
Yeah, it's not often that you have silvers for this kind of situation, but if your quick swap menu is nice and light, you can just kind of do a couple clicks back and forth, and it can be a relatively quick way to deal with this boss. I often forget that's a good option.
Alright, we got the Bonk Rocks check there from Khloe, and going to be heading back into Kakariko, probably for Sick Kid, and then going into the Dark World, or maybe straight to the Dark World? Yes.
Perhaps hoping that we'll find a mirror in some of these checks and be able to wrap those up more cleanly. A little bit of magic refill from that tree. Good game knowledge that you can bonk that tree in the light world there up by the portal, and it will give you a full magic drop.
Yeah, looks like we're going to see the Villager Outcasts here from Khloe. Also had the option to go straight into Skullwoods, but looks like routing it this way around. Completely fine.
Nice heart in the chest game, bringing us up to 9 red. Schulzer will be getting his red mail upgrade from the Dark Maze momentarily here. Khloe, I believe, is going to buy a red potion from the shop here. Just for a little bit of added safety.
Yeah, why not? We've got all this money hanging around doing nothing.
C-shaped house, another heart piece.
And looks like, yeah, we're going to see the Thieves Town dip.
Quick peek at the boss. We see a Helmassar King, yep. Not a difficult boss at all, especially with silver arrows.
Yeah, it sure isn't, and given that it's pretty easy to get to, and yeah, killable and holds a green pendant. I suspect we will see Khloe defeat it here. Whether Khloe then does the back of the dungeon, I think, is a more interesting question.
Yeah. All right, 2 items in the front so far. I think if we see a third item here, we most likely skip the back, but we will. It's a decision to make.
Logical question that I don't know the answer to. Can the small key be on the boss in boss shuffle when the boss is already there and you can access it early? I know it can't ordinarily.
I don't think so. I think you can still spend your keys unwisely if that was the case.
You can spend them unwisely, but you can never lock yourself out of the boss room, right? So you could always just get the extra key as long as you can kill the boss, logically.
I wonder. That's a good question. I don't know if the logic changes for that.
Yeah, me neither.
Considering how Randomizer runs, I'm going to assume it doesn't change that logic, but we don't know for sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure, because obviously Randomizer does affect the logic in some ways, right? Like the Randomizer obviously knows where there is a Trinex and won't make you logically have to beat it without an ice rod, so...
Yeah. I'm willing to bet it doesn't, because I mean, I've played a fair number of multi-worlds and a lot of boss shuffling out. I don't think I've ever seen a small key drop from Thieves down here, but yeah. Yeah, you see Khloe making very quick work with the hammer and throw the mask, and then 1 silver out of the forehead takes him down. There's a book.
Alright, book is an interesting one. But I guess that is the ability to beat Desert Palace now, so there's another crystal and a red one at that we can get to.
And Khloe will re-enter. So we see there are 3 items remaining in the back. That would be, I think it's incentive enough to go ahead and clear the rest of the dungeon.
Meanwhile, Schulzer caught up here on the trip to Village of Outcasts and does decide to make the play to Skullwoods first.
I like this. You got a fire rod. You know you can full clear the dungeon. It's most likely a crystal, so it's a good play. And Skull itself is worth 4 items as compared to its normal 2, so it's really not a bad dip. Continue to get new information from both sides here. Schulzer about to open the bridge chest and skull. Khloe gets a mirror in Thieves' attic. Man, that's where my mirror was yesterday. I wish I'd gotten it earlier than this. Earlier than I did, because I skipped the back of Thieves. It was a bad choice.
Alright, well, that's a big reward for deciding to come back into the back of Thieves here. I think it would have been a very reasonable play to not do, so...
Yeah.
It's working out.
That's a very good item for Khloe. Khloe getting exactly what they wanted. Actually, that mirror lets them now clean up the checks in the light world like a sick kid and grab that shovel off library.
Yep, for sure. Also, interestingly, they've found a mirror and a book, so could check Pedestal when they do Skullwoods.
Yeah, that works out even better.
Looks like our small key was locked in the big chest today. See Armos on the Moth Arena. Certainly not the worst boss to fight on the Moth Arena, but still pretty awkward, as everything on this arena is.
Yeah, there's a lot of bosses in here that are just weird. There's our GT compass. That one's useless, actually. We don't get any indicators for Ganon's Tower.
Well, we do get one indicator, but it tells us that Aghanim 2 is in the top and not very useful.
Yeah, not a shuffled boss, so not particularly helpful, no. Yeah, Moth's room makes some bosses weird. Some of them don't know what to do. Like Moldworm there is completely, it just kind of gets stuck in the corner. That's not how to handle the conveyor. Armos is an interesting one because if one of them stays alive long enough, you'll see it. Like the top left one tends to clip up through the wall in the top left and like wrap to the bottom of the screen. It does some funky stuff.
Yeah, the second phase of Argus does some weird things there. Obviously, Helmicopter is the classic as well.
Oh yeah, we always love to see a helicopter. These two now in the same dungeon. Khloe will do the straight to the back play, and while Schulzer cleans up the front. I don't know how many items we have left, so I guess we'll see when he's done. We'll know that we're done with the dungeon. Heart piece and pinball. There's our bug net in the map chest, I believe that is.
Yeah, and opening the B chest here as well, so it looks like the whole dungeon here required to be done to get all the items.
Another heart piece. Nothing exciting overall.
Nope. The good stuff, obviously, in Thieves Town here, but I imagine that Schulzer is heading there pretty soon.
Yeah. As we discussed earlier, yeah, Khloe coming up with the Mire book in Thieves Town gives us the option. They will be able to do a pedestal check after this boss fight, if they so desire, which I imagine we will see.
So a nice clean Armos on the conveyor floor fight there.
Yeah, Silver Arrows makes it still a pretty trivial fight. Looks like we saw a half magic on Bumper Ledge, so unfortunately we won't be getting that today.
Nope, certainly a nice one to have, but not worth a trip back here with a cape later.
Yeah.
It's also notably when Khloe mirrored to do Sick Kid, did not then go and also pick up the shovel from library. So I don't know whether that one's been tactically ignored or forgotten about. But if it yields an item, it could be a big deal for Schulzer.
Yeah, we haven't seen that check yet. Schulzer did grab that and looked at Sick Kid, which I think Sick Kid was just a piece of heart or something, so nothing consequential. All right, Ped check, moment of truth. Is it important? Ooh, that's a Ped sword? Oh, man. Well then.
All right.
Well then.
Vanilla sword. Probably not going to matter, but there are worlds where it does.
Yeah. If we end up with like a there's a possibility that the other two swords are behind that, and then this becomes a required Ped seed. We'll see.
Like yeah, two swords on tablets.
We the trifecta, whatever people call that. We got close. I commentated a race about a week ago or so that was that had two of them. There was a sword on Ether and one on Ped. We almost had the triple. Personally, like to call it the Plando special because it's kind of some Plando nonsense that people like to do. Schulzer is going to go ahead and clear Thieves Town in one go, so he will be rewarded with his Mire in the attic. Being a little bit bullied in Hellway there. That room can just be terrible sometimes. There's not much you can do about it.
No, if the enemies don't cooperate, it can go real poorly. Schulzer also muscle memorying towards the floor, then realizing we don't need to bomb that.
Khloe's now done with Skull Woods. We are gonna... Looks like we're headed for the portal near house.
Yeah,
this could be a swamp play. Yeah, we've got mirror flippers, hook shot, hammer. Yeah, we can do swamp.
I don't believe we know if it's a pendant or a crystal yet, but it's certainly a full clearable dungeon.
Yeah, we're still lacking a lot of our Dark World prize information. I don't think we've seen any maps yet besides the map for Thieves, which we already know is green by courtesy of Zaha's information.
Yeah, we've got 4 unknown dungeons still, one of which is our last pendant.
So this comes down to, what, McBoss does sometimes, you have to discover your dungeon prizes by force of clearing the boss and see what you get.
Yeah, certainly in a reasonable spot at the moment for that. Like, obviously, you know, if Khloe kills the boss here in Swamp, you'll either get the pendant, which means you have perfect information, or you'll get a crystal, which is good.
And Swamp is a very good dungeon to go for here. In MC, we've got a total of 8 potential good checks. It's a nice amount of density. Pack of arrows in the first chest. Schulzer showing off how easy Hilmarsar can be when you've got silver arrows. Just one shot to the forehead. So many of the bosses in this game were not programmed to really have any resistance to silver arrows at all, so it just kind of ridiculously one-shots most of them.
Yeah, that is just one of the fun things about Rando in general, right? You get to fight a lot of bosses with items the game never expected you to have when you fought them, so the damage numbers are sometimes a little bit funky. We are going to see Schulzer come south out of Village of Outcasts here. These are checks that we didn't see from Khloe's side.
Yeah, with a sea that opens up like this pretty quick, you can see a lot less thoroughness in the light world when you're chasing your objective dungeons. You can leave stuff like Dig Game, Stumpy behind, but Schulzer's got a pretty good route now with the Mire. There's a lot of cleanup to do. He can get K45 and that shovel check knocked out as well.
Yep, we actually might see Schulzer just like go all the way around to Swamp from there and meet Khloe there.
Khloe's setting up for a bomb diver action here on the left side. Drop the bomb down there and it delays the explosion, and once you get underneath the water and go back on the screen, that bomb will finish exploding and actually hit the switch. Ah, there's a sword in K45, so Ped's probably dead. I mean, Ped's dead, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Master Sword is sufficient to kill Ganon. It's not the easiest fight, but it is enough. So yeah, we're not going to see runners beating a bunch of extra dungeons in order to get a third sword.
Yeah, sorry to everyone who was hoping for an interesting kind of Master Sword pedestal requirement. Not today.
That is a kind of isolated check for Khloe, so it's interesting to see if maybe they leave that sword behind for a while.
Yeah.
Find another one somewhere else.
Let's see, map of Mire on the left side swamp, so finally some Dark World information. And just a heart piece in the second chest, so not a whole lot useful over here. The map is nice, but not really critical. Khloe working on swamp here. We're gonna see. Did we get the big key yet? Nope, we'll be in the back somewhere. And Schulzer right behind him, getting the swamp now. As a reminder, this is game 3 of the set, as indicated by the Triforces on the screen, so whoever wins this one gets to go on and face Jet 082 in round 2 of the tournament bracket, who has successfully defeated Structural Mike in round 1 to advance. Basically only going to get tougher from here, but this is already kind of a tough matchup between these two. Khloe has found the big key and is going to opt to run out of the flooded room to check that. Gets hit by the glitchy stairs, yep.
Yeah, I honestly don't know what's faster here, to come back and check it or just to go back into the dungeon after you beat it, because it's obviously a little bit awkward, going to have to redo Diver Down here.
I think if you get it in flooded room, it's just a little bit faster to check the big chest right now, but if it's in the back like waterfall or later, then you re-enter for it. I haven't timed it personally, but that's what I've been told by other people, and I'm willing to believe it. Yeah, just go on to face Jet. You know, the person after whom we named the Jet Seeds. No big deal. Last 2 items in Swamp coming up. Waterfall is just a heart piece. And we'll get in a moment to see what the boss is back here. We don't have the compass, we haven't been able to peek at it.
Thought for a second there Schultz was going to go to do back first, but then took a leftward turn and is going to go ahead and do left side as well.
Yeah, so they'll both spend about the same amount of time in Swamp. What do we have here? That's a Cold Stare.
Alright, we got a full tank of magic, so no problem.
He does have 1 red potion in the pocket in case things get extra hairy here, but shouldn't be too bad with 11 hearts red mail and a hammer to deal with this. These puffs are pretty resilient, but so are we at this point.
And while Khloe is finishing off this fight and Schultz is wandering around Swamp Palace, I think it's as good a time as any to remind everyone to go ahead and follow our runners today. Putting on a show for your entertainment here, so go ahead and show them some love. Ooh.
Got kind of comboed there. That was unfortunate. And Khloe is gonna bail out. I kind of don't blame him at this point.
Yeah, it's interesting. Obviously, we don't know the information yet still, right? Like, it's possible that's just the last pendant and you never have to go back. So I think it's fine to leave for now, but certainly awkward. And also, yeah, obviously, not having magic means that it would have been a pretty tough one to go back and kill anyway. I don't think there's a good place to refill your magic.
Good call, yeah. Swamp doesn't have any magic in it, so you'd be relying on getting something from a drop, and there's like pretty much like 1 prize pack in Swamp, and I don't think we've seen magic off of it.
Yeah, I think it's possible that our stun prize is full magic here. I can't remember if we saw that earlier or not.
Stun prize was a single heart.
Oh, was it? Okay.
So it looks like Khloe is going to go ahead and take this book over into Desert.
Yep, this one's definitely a crystal.
Ooh, there's our last sword on Desert Ledge. Okay, so that pet's extra dead then.
Yep, we're going to be able to get tempered without it anyway.
Yeah, Khloe will at least be on Master Sword here. Even if they do leave K45 hanging, they've at least got enough swords to finish the game.
Schulzer beating the true final boss there of the sucky staircase.
Yeah, there are ways to get around that if you know about the glitchy stairs. Oh, Khloe could use the magic drop. It's fine. Desert actually, if you want, has a number of pots in the back here to refill magic and arrows and stuff. It's a pretty good dungeon for early resources.
It's true. I'm kind of surprised to see a full magic be skipped though, because we don't know what the boss is still.
Yeah, I think they were on the transition there. It was too late to grab it by the time it was noticed that it was dropped. And another one, jeez.
Alright, well it turns out that there's just a prize pack with a bunch of magic here anyway, so it's probably not a big deal.
Got a cape in the Desert Big Key chest. That's a nice safety item to have.
Though obviously with a blue cane already, it's not a huge deal. It unlocks the half magic that we know is on Bumper Cave, but yeah, not going to be seeing that one today. Also getting some number of the fire rod dupes there, so can save a few shots here for the puffs.
Yeah, having Master Sword is a significant advantage, be able to save some magic. He's going to deal mostly with the same fight condition here. Getting a lot of fire rod shots saves him some good damage, not having to do too much work with the hammer.
It was
What do we get?
a much easier and cleaner fight.
Mushroom! And a crystal.
And a crystal.
Yeah.
That's the important part for sure. Khloe is going to have to go ahead and go back to Swamp and kill that later, so the race has certainly been evened up a bit as a result of the cold stare death from Khloe.
Yeah, I think that tilts it a little bit back in Schulzer's favor, but yeah, that's we'll have to see as the seed plays out, of course. We still don't have all our dungeon prize information, so it's really hard to call at this point still.
Yeah, for sure. And also, obviously, we haven't got the information yet for the medallions required to open either Mire or Turtle Rock, so there's certainly a few things left out there that we might or might not need.
Yeah, we've seen one of them. We know we have the Ether Medallion from Paradox, and we know where the Bombos is up on Floating Island, so we are aware of two of them at least. Putting in the full magic drop now is prepared to fight whatever boss is back here. Yeah, Schulzer found his second sword in K45, which Khloe has not been to, and will be getting his tempered sword off of Desert Ledge once he's done in here. That's our second Armos in the back of Desert. That's our first repeat boss. The boss shuffle flavor we have is full, so the three bosses that can be repeated can be different, but we will still have specifically three bosses that appear twice. We know for sure now that there are no more Armos Knights to fight.
Yep, absolutely, and Armos is obviously one of the more friendly ones to have repeated. It's a pretty straightforward fight, especially given that both of our runners had silvers before either of the fights.
As chat's pointing out, we do now have Pyramid Fairy open as an option. We could see that done at some point here. Potentially a clean up swamp and then walk the big bomb to there.
Yeah, Khloe's certainly going back through that portal. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see that be the play. Looks like it is. Yeah, straight to Pyramid Fairy here.
Yeah, Khloe doesn't know that that's a crystal boss just yet. So I would not be surprised to see them put that off for a bit until they know that's a required boss, or they get the suspicion later that they just got to do it to find out what the prize is.
Yeah, for sure. You're not going back in there for one single check when you don't know if you need to beat the dungeon or not.
Yeah. Schulzer's got his third sword now. Tempered's a big upgrade over Master. Ooh, there's our second glove on Pyramid Ledge.
Alrighty. That's an important one.
And what's in Pyramid Fairy? A piece of heart and a compass to Swamp. We've already been there.
And what's the swamp, eh? Well, the boss of Swamp now in Logic.
Khloe did a quick map check there. I didn't quite catch what our Mire prize was.
I think
Mire's
it was a crystal. I think it was a crystal, yeah. So it's just down to a 50-50 between Turtle Rock and Ice Palace now, at least from our point of view.
So we know for sure that we're going to need the flute to get to Mire.
We sure are, and we're going to need at least one medallion, though as you said, we have one already, and with those mitts we now have access to a second one as well. I wouldn't actually be too surprised to see someone make a play up to the mountain soon to scout the Turtle Rock medallion and also pick up that Bombos and do Hookshot Cave and the like.
Yeah. Looks like Khloe is now going to go for Catfish and actually check Zora finally. We haven't seen this from either side yet.
Right, yeah, we saw the surrounding area, but we did not see the fish itself.
Yeah, like a flute or something else important on Zora here would be pretty spicy because at this point you have to think like, man, I'm really late to this. That might throw you off.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the same could be true of those mitts as well, right? Like, we've had access to the pyramid for quite some time. Obviously,
Yeah.
neither one chose to do it early, but you definitely could have.
Nope, just a bomb pack. All right. That's the Zora area cleared out. Schulzer doing the setup for the bomb dupe here, and should get it on time. Looks good. He's got it. Yep.
Got it first try. Didn't actually need to double back there, but doing that for safety purposes.
Yeah. I really like that setup there. It's just kind of a specific timing. After hitting that last peg, you just start your dash, and as long as you're consistent with your movement, it just works out. Schulzer spotted that second glove. He'll happily take that, and Khloe is on their way to Ice Palace. Schulzer confirming that crystal at Mire.
Ice Palace is maybe a slight gamble play here. Obviously, it's still an unknown dungeon prize, so may or may not be required. I'm gonna go ahead and see what Schulzer thinks the next play is going to be here.
And missing Samaria to make this a little bit faster. You'd like to have that cane so you can do Icebreaker. We've got a blind at the bottom. Good information. The first one of those we've seen. Checking the Ice Palace boss. I like that because you know whether you need to be tight on magic to getting down there. Because if it's a vanilla cold stare or a try next, then you can be in a tough spot of being able to actually fight the boss at the bottom.
Of course, Schulzer are able to loop in the mushroom turn-in check here as well. Having already gotten that from the boss in Swamp, but it is just a second boomerang, which we will not be needing.
Schulzer right behind Khloe and checking out the Catfish and Zora area. These two have been kind of trading back and forth with who's kind of leading their mostly synchronized routes here. Just kind of little differences here and there of what they haven't done compared to each other.
Yeah, sure. We could well, if my call was right and we see Schulzer go to the mountain, then we might see our first kind of big piece of divergence here from the two of them. Probably having a little bit of trouble here lining up the Ice Palace bomb jump. Needs to be a little bit careful here, only having the 3 bombs.
Yeah. That looks good there. Yeah. Chaz asking about our gloves. Our first glove was in Waterfall Cave, and our second one was on Pyramid Ledge.
And yeah, Schulzer is in fact up the mountain here. So we'll see if there's a payoff up here somewhere like Hookshot Cave, or if there's a payoff in Ice Palace. That could definitely be a big deciding factor in the result.
Yeah. It's hard to say which of these two is initially better. Ice Palace is kind of just a quick go clear the dungeon. You like to have Samaria for it to make it faster, but you can still do it. TR, you've got a lot more stuff on the mountain to get, but you don't know for sure that you can do anything in Turtle Rock because you lack Samaria and 1 medallion, so it's hard to say.
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely a big fan in general of getting information though, so like scouting the Turtle Rock medallion is a thing that I would like to do.
Schulzer almost gets bullied by that dead rock. Just realized there's barely enough room to sneak around.
And also remembering to do Ether Tablet there. There was one more check on the mountain than I'd thought of.
There's the big key for ice in the iced tea room. Khloe will have to do the loop around and see what's in the big chest. We can bomb jump back over to it.
Turtle Rock's Quake, so that's the one we don't know the location of yet.
Well then, not accessible.
Nope. So I guess just kind of hoping that's our last pendant. We haven't got to worry about it.
Oh, well, there's Samaria. Samaria and Super Bunny is a good find. We know we need it for Misery Mire at the very least. And that will make his trip through Ice Palace a little bit quicker. We come up with a second bottle there in the H room of Ice Palace. The free blue potion.
Alright, it's a nice one to have. We'll should at least make the Cold Stare refight that Chloe's got coming up pretty trivial.
Yeah. Schulzer also finds another bottle pre-filled with green in Hookshot Cave, and he's going to go ahead and pick up that Bombus Medallion, because of course you do. You're not going to leave that hanging. You don't know if you need it. Oh, there's Quake and Ice Palace.
Alright, so if Turtle Rock is required, then Chloe's route works out again here. Obviously, you can, once they find that Samaria up there, can go straight into Turtle Rock.
Yeah, Schulzer actually, I think he just got the TR map and map check, and that is a crystal, so we do need that.
Alright, so yeah, so I mean that means that Chloe is obviously currently beating an unnecessary pendant dungeon, but we now know that the Quake in it is required, so this is good news for Quake.
Yes. All right, well, that completes our map information. We no longer have to worry about collecting any of those. Some compasses would be, nice to see what your boss is ahead of time, but not super critical. Again, we can kill every boss in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, obviously Chloe's going to kill Blind here, going to be quite upset to see a pendant drop, but then when they get to the mountain and see that that Turtle Rock is Quake, will then be happy to have taken this trip.
Yes. We're going to work on Smith Chain now. Having acquired the second glove pretty recently, he says, let's go do this.
Chat pointing out that Chloe skipped Ice Big Chest. It might have been a known small key, I'm not sure. But obviously at this point we know it. So, oh no, sorry, yeah, we still need the flute. Yeah, I was thinking we were in like go mode between the two runners, but yeah, no, we still need a flute somewhere.
Yeah, we're in flute go mode at this point. Spots a big heart and hammer peg. Says nope, 12 red is enough. Not worth the time to pick up.
Seeing some new checks here though on shots of the whole Smith chain here, presumably.
Another heart on the Smiths. Just asked if we've seen a Trinex yet. No, we have not. We've seen 2 Armless Knights, 1 Moldorm, 1 Argus, 1 Helma, 1 Cold Stare, and 1 Blind. So we're still missing some Vitreous and some Trinex, and no Lambos yet either. Or Moths. No Moths yet either. So we've still got 2 bosses that we can even see repeats of just yet. And because I'm tracking such things, because there's a sheet that has the numbers figured out, I can tell you right now, since we're thinking about it now, 41% is our current chance for an Ice Trinex.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously just the odds of it being there. The odds of it being required to fight are then lower still.
Yeah, there's only 3 checks behind that, so it's unlikely that you have to do that. But in my first 2 races I commentated were a Mick Boss. We had 2 required Ice Trinexes, so it could happen again.
All right, yeah, we can always hope. We've got 3 necks in the dream.
Remembering, yeah, I want to grab that Bombus Medallion just in case. Schulzer's busy picking up hearts still. Another one in King's Tomb. Taking the purple chest on a bit of a journey, actually.
Yep. Get in the portal. Okay.
This is an interesting trip, actually. I don't think I've ever really ever seen anyone take the purple chest on this specific route, but I don't hate it. Like, it works out.
Yeah, I've taken the purple chest around the north, like, to Catfish before, but yeah, I don't think I've ever swum through that portal with it to get to here.
Alright. Another heart and purple chest. So Schulzer's just been, like, hearts everywhere lately. He's up to 15 red now. Alright, yeah, Khloe now. Yeah, getting up on top of TR saying, hey, look, that is Quake Medallion. They just got that nice. They've got to be feeling good about making that trip, despite having the pendant, but then like, oh, I can get the TR now. That's great.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't think Schulzer will be too happy to see nothing from Smith Chain there. But going to go ahead and dip into Ice Palace now. I don't know if Schulzer knows that this is a pendant or not, but obviously it could just be the play anyway.
He did the he was the one that did the map check on saw the TR crystal, so I believe he knows now that this is a pendant. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. As long as he definitely also knows the Mire information, which he might do, then yeah.
Yeah. He's also checked. I believe he's seen Mire's crystal as well, so he's. I'm pretty sure he knows his full info. Oh, there's Flute in Roller Room. That's go mode for Khloe.
Yep. Chloe knows it. Mirroring out there. Wait, hang on.
We gotta clear the dungeon, but yeah.
Yeah, Chloe hasn't got the big key, so probably did want to open the second chest in Roller Room there.
That was a quick mirror, yeah.
Yeah, that was a reflexive, go mode, let's just do everything, but yeah.
Yeah, this is a crystal dungeon, so we do have to clear it. Yeah, so that does mean Khloe will not be getting anything better than Master Sword, because we've seen all 4 of them at this rate. They were missing the ones, obviously, on Ped and then at K45, which they never got to.
Yep, for sure. Not going to be going back to those locations. It's going to be Master Sword Ganon today, but luckily with Silvers, it's not quite such a hard fight.
Yeah, Master Sword Silvers is really not too bad. It's still a bit awkward, because you still have to do spins in Phase 4, but it's not as terrible as Master Sword Silverless, which is a real grind of a fight. Yeah,
and obviously it'll add a few extra cycles to the first couple phases as well, but yeah, not like a huge deal breaker.
Yeah. Schulzer's now got his Quake Medallion out of ice, so he can now go back up to the mountain and do TR at any point, which we know he'll want to. I wouldn't be surprised to see him do that next. Considering that's his next crystal, and he doesn't have a lot else. He can't get into Mire yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
I'm going to go ahead and quit out here, which is
he's bailing. Well. Okay. That's a call he's making. That's the right call, actually.
Yeah, for sure. That's actually going to make things pretty close here, I think. Like, by the time Schulzer gets through Turtle Rock, obviously Chloe's got to go back and do Swamp. Or, the boss of Swamp.
Oh, actually, no. No, Telethar in chat is right. He is item counting, because we have a key in the big chest and a key on the boss, so he knows he's done with the dungeon. Okay. Good call.
Alright, yeah, and yeah, with the... Yeah, I guess, I can't remember, was it Schulzer that checked Pedestal? I don't know. I mean, obviously, you're probably not going to finish off a pendant for, like, a pedestal that's that far away, but...
I think they both looked, considering Schulzer did skull. I know Chloe looked for sure. I missed whether Schulzer checked it, but I can't imagine he didn't.
Oh, no, I think, no, you're right. It was only Chloe, because Schulzer did it the other way around and didn't have the mirror and the book by the time he was doing skull. So, yeah, but doesn't know it, but yeah, obviously it's, you're not going to make the play there just to finish off a pendant dungeon. Yeah. And that you still got another one to beat, and Ped's so far away at that point.
So, yeah, this is good for Schulzer. Khloe is in Goma, but they do still have to go back down off the mountain to clear Swamp Palace. So Schulzer is definitely still in a time advantage. I mean, they both had to go back off the mountain, but like Chloe still has one more crystal to get.
I actually think it's really, really close here. Like Chloe obviously being further into Turtle Rock here versus the time it takes to, like, just going straight to the back of Swamp isn't particularly slow, so I think this is actually a really tight race right now.
Yeah, that's not a big advantage, if either said. Yeah. This definitely could come down to, like, a GTBK routing or just execution on the climb. Schulzer does have that sword advantage, which we will have to see if that comes to be a big deal.
Yeah, it certainly could be. Like, in addition, obviously, yeah, it's being faster, it's also just a much easier fight, like, in terms of, like, it's much harder for it to go wrong when you've got tempered compared to Master Sword. Like, not only is it faster if both players execute optimally, it's even faster if things go wrong.
Oh, interesting. Schulzer's going to do TR last. I kind of don't hate it.
Sure. I mean, you're already in there. I guess it's not a huge difference.
There's our last key we need on Laser Bridge. We didn't get hit by the 3%. Yeah, it's interesting. Cause like, I think you lose a tiny bit of time doing this because you have to re-enter Turtle Rock, but it's like you're so close to the entrance anyway that I don't think it's that much. This is just a call you can make if you'd rather do like Mire first and then come back for TR. You know you're doing one more mountain climb anyway, so it's not a huge difference. We've got a Vitreous as the boss of Turtle Rock.
Our first Vitreous, so we've not found any more of our repeats yet. Turns out it's bombos to get into Mire. Not a big deal, obviously. We already had all of them, but yeah, I guess there was no way you were ever going to be here without that because bombos was so close to where the flute was.
Yeah. This will be a complete go mode Mire, so Schulzer will make pretty quick work of this dungeon. Just got to find the big key and then go fight the boss.
Yeah, I saw chat also speculating on Khloe potentially doing more checks looking for a sword, but like knowing there's a sword on pedestal, it means that at that point you're just digging for one sword somewhere, which is I think a thing that you probably don't do very much of.
Yeah, you may just commit to Master Sword at that point. Yeah, you're unlikely to find the last one, and we know where it is. We know they're not finding it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Khloe knows they've got to get this flute done, and then they got to go clean up swamp, and then do go mode Mire, just like Schulzer's doing right now. And then as these two are finishing up these dungeons, we'll have to then actually see who has the sort of time advantage, because it's still a little bit hard to say. Got an easy Mire, actually. The big key in the spike room. You love to see it.
Yep. If I'm Khloe here, I think I would have been finishing Mire before going back to Swamp, just on the off chance that there's a sword somewhere in Mire.
Because you're obligated to do a certain number of checks in Mire to find the big key, you might run across that third sword, which would just make this refight easier. Schulzer doing a little bit of spooky Mire action. Having not even hit the switch, you get to skip the first one, but you can still do 2 and 3. And what's our boss here? Oh, there's our first Trinex.
Well, say goodbye to some of those odds of Ice Trinex.
Yeah, so before we found this, we were at 48%. This one Trinex here knocks it all the way down to 17%. So a 1 in 6 chance of there being an Ice Trinex, and that's then further decreased by the odds of like a 3 in 22 even going to fight it. So we're unlikely to see that in this seed. And Schulzer takes that boss down quite easily. Tempered Sword makes a really pretty quick work of a Trinex fight. Runs himself a bit thin on magic, but he handles it no problem.
Yeah, I think he still had a potion as well, so not too scary.
Yeah. He's got the 3 bottles, which means he's picked up that free blue one we got, which was in somewhere. I forget exactly. That was an ice. Yeah, free blue and ice. That's where it was. And he's got that free green from Hookshot Cave too. So they're actually pretty set on potions without having to do any shopping. So yeah, this is going to be time-wise the Schulzer's clear of Turtle Rock, which is a pretty linear dungeon, compared to Khloe now having to kill this Schulzer and then get into Mire, do that quick go mode trip, and then one more mountain climb for them.
Yep, and we know that the Mire big key is pretty early. Over here using bombos to break the shell, so we can save a couple fire rod shots, makes the fight a little bit simpler. Yeah, gonna go ahead and potion up here as well to use even more fire rod shots.
Yeah, it's just gonna make this fight just faster. That's the interest of pure speed here. It's a really good play. Gets that mushroom, which we know is just the red boomerang, and their 6th crystal.
Alright, yeah, so Schulzer now back into Turtle Rock here. From where they are right now, it looks like Schulzer is going to be getting to GT first.
Yeah, it's definitely a race, though. Khloe does have a shorter dungeon ahead of them, and then just a mountain climb, so we'll have to wait until we're actually like entering GT to get a really good view of kind of like what the time difference is. But if you like what you've seen from those runners, give them both a follow. They definitely deserve the attention that we're giving them on the restream here. Getting through their group phases and getting to bracket round 1 and having to fight it out in this game 3. Yeah, definitely give them a follow.
Slightly awkward Mire 2 there from Khloe, unfortunately having to have a third Wizrobe cycle.
Yeah.
Still gets through the room.
Khloe will get their big key in Mire here at the same time Schulzer did, just 2 checks in. Yeah, chat's talking about the time difference. Yeah, if this was a, yeah, the Mire fluid was a little bit of time loss for Khloe, but the big one was definitely the having to re-enter Swamp to kill that boss. That's easily a couple minutes taken there. So, yeah, if this was a, if not for that boss death, I would say definitely Khloe would have a time advantage here. But I think the edge is definitely most likely in Schulzer's favor at this point. He's going to get into GT a little bit sooner, and we're also going to have him with a sword advantage going up. He needs to find his last small key at the bottom of Laser Bridge here. A couple of maps, one of them useless. The castle map, you never care about seeing that one.
Also still going for all the laser skips, even though we've had the Mirror Shield for quite some time. He's still slightly faster if you line him up quickly enough.
Just barely. Any dash that's at least 4.5 pixels long is worth it compared to walking. Or 4.5 tiles, not pixels. Pixels are tiny. It's a lot more than 4 pixels.
Like we've got simultaneous boss fights going on here.
Beginning into their Master Sword Trinex fight, which will be a little more tricky. They're going to have to either use a lot more sword slashes or opt for the terrible hitbox of the hammer. But they do have a blue potion in the pocket that they're going to need to probably going to need for magic usage.
Yeah, this is actually kind of an awkward fight here with this goo at the top of the screen. Looks like that's the first head down.
That's the fire head down, yeah. Oh yeah, so Schulzer is done with TR. We got 7 crystals. We're going to make a fast dash over to GT. If you've got an idea of what check that big key is going to be in from a number of 122, get it in chat real fast. We're not going to have much time for guessing here.
So
I'm going to go with my
quite a few guesses in.
Yeah, I'm going to go with my usual number of 18.
Okay. I often go with 7, so I guess I'll stick with that.
Khloe getting through Trinex phase 1, not too bad. I get into phase 2 here. Need a few more hits than Schulzer did, but we'll get through it. Those are going left first. Going to spot a small key on the torch for number 1.
Collecting the torch item as well, really helpful for us with the compass there. We can just know how many checks it's been by looking up there.
Yeah. Oh, there it is in Stalfos room. That's it.
Number 4. Did
Easy number 4.
Anybody throw a number 4 in the chat here? Papa Drum. Congratulations.
You win an imaginary box of internet donuts. Yeah, this is definitely Schulzer's race at this point. We've got him getting into the GT climb with a good couple minutes of advantage at this point, and he does have that sword advantage as well. So unless something catastrophic happens, I can't imagine him not advancing to round 2 of this bracket here.
Yep, definitely is played out to be a pretty big advantage here. Obviously, that death in the back of Swamp Palace being the real swinger here. I think Khloe was a little bit ahead at that point and took a slightly more efficient route from that point, doing ice before going up the mountain. But that death has been the big thing.
Yeah, the ice play was like really kind of like the big chance of Khloe could actually take this, but then that was the Swamp Palace death definitely kind of negated that and then some. And Schulzer did not take long to get to ice either, so it's not like he was hunting for Quake for very long. No,
exactly. And also, the sword advantage, which, I mean, obviously we've been talking about it in terms of Ganon, but it's also just mattered at a few other places. Obviously, the Trinex in Beatrice's room was made a much easier fight by having the tempered sword as well.
Yeah. You see how much longer Khloe took at that, having to work with either Master Sword Slashes or the hammers. Bad hitbox. And then as a result, kind of also wanting to stop by Potion Shop because you want to not get in a situation where you're in the Ganon fight with Master Sword and run out of magic or anything like that. Just you want to make sure you can close it out in one trip.
Yeah, that's fair. Especially with also the possibility of unknown ice bosses coming up as well, right? You want to be stocked up on potions for things like that.
Yeah, you don't know what you're fighting in GT here.
Looks like we're seeing the same GT route here from Khloe, so gonna also have a fast big key.
Yeah. Schulzer screaming up this climb here, already up to torches too. Line 2 was a vanilla fight, so we are could have a second cold stir up here maybe. Oh, there's our first moth. That's right. I was like, what haven't we seen? It's a moth. We have rounded out the actually seeing at least one of the bosses now, at least one each.
Yeah, every time I see someone fight moth in a different room, I remember that the actual boss in Skullwoods is Moth's room and rather than Moth herself.
Exactly. Yeah, the GT climb really having nothing for difficult bosses up here. Just a vanilla ammo, which is taken down super easy with silvers, and then Moth, which, just dies. Chat asking about our Moldorm. We had 2 eyes on our Moldorm today, actually, so it was unchanged. And the one Moldorm we saw was also vanilla at the top of Hera. Just like, is this even randomized?
Also having a little bit of a rough time with Aghanim too here. Only gotten the 1 hit in so far in 3 cycles, 2 in 4 now.
These patterns are being a bit unkind to him, yeah.
That was a much nicer one. Ooh, but unfortunately warping away before the 3rd hit could come in.
Yeah, they're desynced enough now that you're not going to get a triple there. Ugh.
And the blue ball. Oh, this is a rough one. One more. Oh, another blue ball. Sometimes Aghanim is not cooperative. There we go.
Sometimes it takes you 6 cycles because it's just weird. The patterns are weird and it gets desynced and you gotta deal with it. But he is through his Aga 2 fight. We're gonna drop down to the pyramid and get into the Ganon fight in just a moment. We're getting their 3 silver arrows delivered, 1 each of those Lambos in the vanilla room.
Making a pretty good effort of the gauntlet there with only a Master Sword. Certainly a little bit trickier, but Khloe's got through it without too much trouble.
Yeah. Using the silver arrows to good effect here. Having both bows is really nice for the climb. There are a lot of enemies that just die to silvers, so it can be a very good tool.
Alright, nice one-on-one there from Schulzer, so just needs to deliver some silver arrows to Ganon here, and if Ganon wants to stop warping, then then we can get done.
Yeah, Schulzer will most likely close this out. Assuming we don't get any unfortunate phase 4 falls here, we'll be done in just a minute. Assuming Ganon ever stops teleporting. Come on, man, you've had enough. There you go. Ooh, missed the first shot. Gonna interrupt on a good triple here, most likely. Yep, there it is, just one more. And that'll do it.
Congratulations, Schulzer.
That'll be Schulzer taking first place in this game 3, and we'll go on to round 2 to fight Jet 082. We'll get your official time from the race room in just a moment, once he's across that bridge. That'll be 1:36.12 for Schulzer's official first place finish time. We'll get him in for an interview in a little bit here. Most likely he is probably going to go over to interview on the German restream channel first, SpeedGaming Deutsch, because we're getting a simultaneous restream here, so we'll probably hear from him in a little bit.
Meanwhile, Khloe also having a fun time with these Aghanim 2 pans.
Yeah, they give both. I think she maybe had like 1 fewer cycle, but still, it was still a tough time for both of them. Yeah, just not a great pattern set. I get through a lot of blue balls too, like the real ones. So it's just like really disruptive. And they'll be dropping into their Ganon fight, which will be quite a bit slower by way of Master Sword. We got to do a lot of spins, which are slower to execute, but we'll still get through it.
So a bit of an awkward health situation here as well, though. Yeah, Khloe did buy up some potions, so hopefully that won't matter.
Yeah. Having Red Mill gives us a pretty good amount of safety, so we can probably take 1 hit here as long as it's not a Ganon hug. Yeah, there's the down to 2, so we can heal at any point here. Right, now into phase 2, we're going to get the cape out. I think Khloe's going to try to cape and then heal once the magic is empty. Pretty reasonable.
Yeah, Yeah, makes complete sense. Use your blue potion to heal both rather than just one. Ooh, this bat's hitting. Yeah, could see that coming during the pause.
Yeah, the pause buffer giving you kind of some time to think about what's that bat doing.
Yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't really react to it, but just knew the hit was inevitable.
Yeah, that cape coming in really handy here, because it does let you get a lot easier double spins against the wall. Now we're into phase 3. Phase 3 requires a little bit more patience with Master Sword. You kind of got to wait to see when Ganon actually stopped and then release your spin. Now we're into phase 4. And one more magic refill. We know they got it, at least. Should be able to get a double here. Not quite good on timing.
So, one more hit to go.
Yep, this will be the last hit here. We'll get a silverless hit in because the timing's weird and the bat's blocking us. There we go.
One extra hit for good measure, dealing slightly more than lethal damage to Ganon.
Gotta make sure he's dead.
Alright, GG's also to Khloe.
And that will be Khloe across the bridge with a time of 1 hour, 40 minutes, and 38 seconds. So a difference of 4 minutes and 26 seconds overall. Yeah, I think we could say maybe like the sword advantage was probably a bigger contributor there. I'm not sure how much. I mean, it would have been closer without the Schulzer death, but Schulzer might still have taken it even after that. Even without that, I mean. And we have Khloe Power in the booth with us. GG's to you.
Hi-yo, GG's, it's over.
You can stop worrying about tournament now, yay!
Yeah, I did the math. It was 3 minutes and 20 seconds for the Cold Stare death, which was not enough.
Yeah, Schulzer, the sword advantage would have still been enough, yeah.
Yeah. I found one sword.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks because like you had like your route altogether was just kind of like you had like a more efficient route for a good chunk of the game. It's just like if not for that sword in K45, it's like why would you ever go there? But it would have been a lot closer if not for that.
I didn't want to go down to that route without the mitts. I wanted to get everything together because I had boots and shovel. You could just mirror grab that if I grabbed the smith, and it would have been a really clean route if it was required at all, and it wasn't. I just said, forget it. Not doing it. It was a weird seed. There was nothing early. It was kind of a bit of a mess. Like,
yeah, that early game was like, where is anything? Kakariko was absolutely empty. I think it was. Remember we had like flippers there or something? There's like maybe one thing at best. Yeah, the sword unped was just like, okay, well that's silly. That's there. Yeah, it was just a really weird early game. Kind of like it took you a while to get anything going. And Castle had a bunch of stuff like lamp and bow in the first bottle. Just like
yeah, it was. I mean, it wasn't a terrible seed by any means. We didn't get caught off guard by any bosses. I should have gotten that Cold Stare. That was just. I wouldn't even say it was just poor execution. Yeah. I had a potion on hand. I had a red potion. I could have used it at any time, but I got knocked by an ice thing that I didn't see, and it put me down to 2 instead of 2.5.
Yeah, it looked like you just kind of had, if you had like a slight bit more time, you would have been able to react to it. We do have Schulzer in the room with us as well. GG's and congratulations to you for moving on.
GG's.
Congrats, Schulzer.
what a weird seed, especially at the beginning. Getting like
Yeah.
nothing, not even enough to buy bombs.
Yeah, the bomb awkwardness was great because like you two showed off completely different routes through Kakariko, having to like, well, you both went south after finding nothing in woods, but then like inside Kak, you're two running around like, all right, what do we do first? How do I get bombs anywhere? And Khloe ends up making a purchase, which like helped actually because like Chloe's slower out of Kak, but then Khloe can go right to Mini Moldorm first, whereas Schulzer, you've got to like, all right, well, I've got to go to Lake Shop and buy bombs, and I guess since I'm over here, I'm going to go to Eastern. It was just a weird opening.
Yeah, I going down to the dam just to hope to get a big 20 to actually buy some bombs. I think I never was put in that situation before, but it kind of worked out.
Yeah.
I basically full cleared the overworld. I mean, Hyrule Castle had lamp and the silver, so I didn't mind doing that early. Like having silver the entire seed feels super good. Can give you, especially in that mode, a huge advantage if there ever shows a witty up, but that only was late. And yeah, the only bad play was Easter Palace, which had absolutely nothing, which surprised me. And then I was super scared. Uh-oh, I have a lamp and a bow. Please, Eastern Palace, don't do this to me.
Yeah, that early Eastern worrisome, but then Khloe ended up eventually doing Eastern like after pod, but yeah, it was technically a little bit faster to do it then, but yeah. Like
It wasn't much though. I mean, I skipped the boss in Eastern though, because
yeah.
I think we both did.
Yeah, you both skipped the Eastern boss.
Yeah,
Schulzer by
I had
force
no
of not
choice.
having a bow, but yeah.
I didn't even know what boss there is in the end. I don't think we ever found a compass for it either.
No.
I mean, compasses were basically useless in this mode because we could kill every boss after Hype Cave.
Yeah, you had
Yeah.
all your boss killing so fast, yeah.
As soon as we got that ice rod, yeah, it was like, oh well, I'm gonna check them so I can prepare beforehand. But like,
And then I wasn't even scared because then I got a blue potion of some water preparing and was like, I have a blue potion, I have an ice rod, I have fire rod, I have hook shot, I can kill every boss, I'm not scared. I can go into any dungeon I want without compass. That felt super nice and worked out for me in the end. Like, that sea stone bag is always a gamble. Glad it paid out today. But at that moment, I don't think I had any other choice going into the bag.
yeah, back FTR being pendant and loaded and boss shuffle meant that you didn't need to go through it, but like you definitely needed to go through it.
I was so
Or-
scared
yeah.
that Swamp Palace is a pendant and then, oh, you got Mire out of bag of TT. Nothing is locked behind Mire. Nice! But at least the existed up in Swamp Palace, and then I was super relieved at that point, because that was something I was really scared of, that the Mire actually turns out to be complete garbage, especially because the book was on the boss.
Yeah, it could have been a pendant swamp, and Mire was going to be useless, and then there would have been nothing at all.
Glad it
It's
worked out that way. Glad I did find the third sword, and didn't ever find the last one on pad.
Yeah. For a while we got to talk about like, oh, maybe that'll be a required ped sword. Like, nah, they got knocked out pretty quickly once Schulzer found the second sword in K45, and then later we get to see the sword in Desert Ledge. We're like, oh, okay, that was never getting picked up. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, maybe the other two swords are like super far away, and you actually need a Mire to get a sword. I mean, it almost happened with the third sword being on pad, and the other one, yeah, was easy enough.
Yeah,
at least.
we had a race in a round one race, which was there was another sword on Ether tablet. It had ped and Ether. It was almost required, but not quite.
You could have two swords on tablets, or required items locked behind tablets, and the other swords in GT.
Yeah, it's possible.
I don't think I ever happened to have that. The thing that comes closest was a required bottle on Arganage in a map compass shuffle seat. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
the only
I've
thing close to it.
I've never seen a required sword on Ped Seed. I've had
Yeah.
theories about it, but never seen.
Oh yeah, it's super rare. Outside of like Plando nonsense, yeah.
But yeah,
So
I'm happy moving on in the tournament after losing the first game. That felt really unlucky skipping one check, and now I didn't skip anything, and it worked out just fine. So yeah, it's gonna be really interesting against Jet next week.
Yeah, how are you feeling going against Jet in round 2?
Gonna be a lot harder, but you have to beat everyone to be on the top. So I'm hyped about that matchup. I only played him once in the league in a match I didn't care because it was the 5th game and the series was already decided. So I'm happy to facing him again, actually.
In a series that actually has some weight to it, yeah.
Yeah, he's a super good player. I watched a bunch of his matches. It's gonna be interesting. Going already beat Elidor. This is maybe depending on the mode. I have one or two edges on him, but you cannot count on anything at this point anymore.
Oh yeah, this I really like this tournament's kind of random match determinations. That it's a really cool concept.
Yeah,
A lot of good variety, and you can kind of prepare. You can figure out what your deck is ahead of time and sort of practice for it, but you never know for sure until you get it rolled at the moment. You're like, oh, okay, that's what we're playing.
let's just say I'm happy that MC Boschov is not gonna be in the first match against Jet.
Are you just not a fan of this mode, or you don't want to play it specifically against him?
I think it's my worst mode overall, because I don't have much experience with map combo shuffle, and I usually have a feeling I'm not doing great if bosses are shuffled somehow.
Yeah, well, it seems to have worked out at least okay for you in the set, so we'll take it. All right, well, I think that's gonna about do it for us here, unless you two have any final thoughts or my co-commentator has any other questions for him.
Well, thanks again for restreaming it. I'm out, but this was quite a interesting run. Getting it to brackets. It's actually my first brackets attempt anyway. But yeah, thanks again for having us, and yeah, have a good night.
Can only repeat what Khloe already said. So good night all. Fun matches against you. I hope to get an EU opponent, but that did not work out as intended.
Yeah, depending on who you get up in your for your next opponents end up being, yeah, it's just maybe you get lucky in your later bracket stages. We'll see. We do have a little bit more rando action going on in SpeedGaming today. Looks like Rywick versus Plasma Kappa started at 5:10. That match is in progress on SpeedGaming 4. And then later tonight on SpeedGaming 3 at 9:10 p.m. Eastern, we'll have Andy versus Vextover, and that will round out the day. And then we'll start tomorrow at 12:10 p.m. Maybe if we get restreams, Magno versus Illis. But nothing's locked in yet, but we'll see. Make sure you're following all the SpeedGaming channels, SpeedGaming and then SpeedGaming 2 through 6, so you don't miss any of the action. And you can throw an exclamation point schedule into the chat if you want to see what else is going on in the schedule in the coming days. And thanks again to my co-commentator Rob J. Beasley for being in the booth with me. It's been a blast. And thanks again to our tracker, Akuhish, for keeping things accurate on the screen for us today. And that's going to do it. So we will see you all later. Thank you all for watching. It has been a pleasure having you here. Hope you had a good time with this race. We'll hope to see you back here for the next one. Take care, everyone.